Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Henry Robinson. Henry Robinson is a co-founder of the Decimal Digital Currency, a Bitcoin mining company launched in 2016, and is an esteemed expert and thought leader in the field of cryptocurrency. Alongside leading Decimal full-time, Henry oversees blockchain-focused venture investments and a hash rate derivatives hedge fund through his own firm, Magnetar Blockchain. Henry is a venture partner at the Good Science Fund, a healthcare and healthy environment-focused venture capital firm with a laser focus on companies driving positive impact. Before entering blockchain, Henry was a serial entrepreneur and contributed to various tech-focused startups and ventures. Henry also serves on the Plain Oversight Committee for the Compute North Bankruptcy Trust. Well, good afternoon, Henry. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you making the time, hailing out of New Jersey, right outside of New York. Love doing these podcasts, East Coast to Kansas City. It's just an hour difference, but love doing this stuff. And Henry, I'm going to jump into your first question here. Recently taken on a leadership role at Good Science Fund. Can you explain the fund's mission and what drew you to focus on healthcare and climate tech investments?
Sure. So the fund's mission is it's a healthcare fund, right? First and foremost, but we're focused on things like community health, things that improve the health of everybody. And, and as well as, the regular kind of drug or biotech company investments. But what drew me into the Good Science Fund, it was actually kind of a roundabout way. I was introduced to my general partner, Urvashi, at the Good Science Fund. And at first it was as a possible investor. And I was reviewing their portfolio companies, and one of them just stood out to me with a bright outline around it as an amazing firm with wild world-changing potential, the company called Phase Change Solutions. And I was so excited about it that I said, not just invest, I want to be a part of this story. And, then kind of from there evolved into first becoming the leader of the LPAC at the Good Science Fund. And now I'm switching over to a venture partner, given my increasing involvement every day.
Thank you. I love the story. We typically start out with a story here on the podcast, and I love to hear each and every one of them. Of course, my audience does too. And I appreciate that you jumped into something that you felt really passionate about, knowing that you're going to better the world by contributing to it. So I appreciate that. And Henry, one of the projects you're supporting is a blanket that pulls heat, which has applications in both Bitcoin mining and medical fields. Can you share more details about how this technology works and its potential impact, especially in developing countries?
Yes, this is the technology that got me hooked. So in energy management, right, there's something called a change of phase. And the easiest way to explain that is melting an ice cube. If you have an ice cube that's at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right, the freezing point of water, and then you melt it, that water is still at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, despite putting a tremendous amount of energy into it. And that energy went into changing the water, or sort of changing it from ice to water, right? That phase change. The amount of energy that it takes to do that, to go from 32 degree ice to 32 degree water, is the same amount of energy that it takes to go from 32 degree water all the way up to 80 degree water, right? To give you a sense of how big the energy is. So what phase change has done, their amazing innovation over 10 years, they've come up with a compound, a novel molecule where they can engineer the freezing point and the melting point. And what this means is that this compound in mass quantities can be used as a thermal battery, a battery for heat. So in my applications, right, the reason I was hooked, my background is Bitcoin mining, heat management is our number one priority. If we can manage our heat, our costs go down, our second order costs like maintenance go down, and our revenue goes up because our chips can perform better at a cooler temperature. So immediately, this for the data center side, this technology jumped out at me. But in terms of medicine, they already have made a tremendous impact for transporting vaccines, transporting organs. These are compounds that need stable temperature, sub-freezing, in order to keep their value as they're transported. And, you asked about the developing world. In the developing world, where refrigeration infrastructure is not as ubiquitous, right? And the ability to quickly fix a broken pump or a broken compressor doesn't exist, right? If a truck breaks down, that food is spoiled or that medicine is lost. With these materials, biodegradable, you can almost eat them. They're so clean, right? They're made from palm oil and corn and soybeans and the like. It means that those medicines or that food being transported in developing worlds, right, with this material has a far lower chance of spoilage, a far lower impact of loss to these people who, probably don't have access to the same kind of insurance products that, you would have in a mature economy even.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just love when there's new innovations or discoveries or inventions that come out that truly not only just solve a problem, but has a bigger global impact on the community and the world. And I really do appreciate that. And I love this stuff. Of course, I've been in tech and emerging tech for a long time as well, Henry. So Henry, next question I have for you. You've been a key player in cryptocurrency through Decimal and now with technology solutions like Heat Pulling Blanket. How do you see cryptocurrency and sustainability intersecting in the future?
To start with what I know, Bitcoin mining, what we do is we democratize the value of energy because we don't care where we are. Wherever we are, we can go, we can buy the energy and we can put it to a good economic purpose. Unlike another manufacturer, right? We manufacture Bitcoin, but if we were manufacturing anything else or any physical good, we would have to worry about distance to market and all sorts of regional issues that Bitcoin miners don't have. So what this means is that say that there's a wind farm that has no customers to sell energy to. A Bitcoin mine can go there and can make that wind farm viable again. And more importantly, Bitcoin mining paired with new renewable energy investment makes those renewable energy investments suddenly a cash flowing positive business for their entire lifetime. One of the biggest barriers to building renewable energy is that they've been incentivized by tax credits and government subsidies and things that make it so that they're a worthy economic pursuit from an ROI basis. Bitcoin is a non-financial engineering answer. It's a true answer to making renewable energy a great investment.
Thank you. Again, we talked about innovation, how we can continue to protect the world, the environment, and bring innovative solutions to improve the processes that we're working on now. Bitcoin mining is one of them. And I just had another guest on the show that talked a lot about that. He actually runs very efficient data centers that do Bitcoin mining, which is awesome. So thank you. And Henry, last question of the day. As someone leading both Decimal and contributing to the Good Science Fund, what role do you believe emerging technologies like blockchain can play in solving technology and healthcare challenges?
So Bitcoin, we've started with money, right? Blockchain technology has really hit it off trying to solve the problem of money. And the reason for that is because it offers certainty, right? Living in a political world, we don't have any idea what economic policy will be 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 20 years from now. And it makes it very difficult on a long-term basis to plan our financial future. Bitcoin, one of its biggest value props is that it solves that. We know Bitcoin's economic policy forever, and that certainty has great value. So in other industries like healthcare, where a certainty, right, an auditable record that we know is achieved by consensus across many, many computers, right? We know that it's not alterable without the keys. There's some very cool applications being built in the healthcare data space. There's a huge opportunity to disrupt management of healthcare data because the security of it from a legal perspective, the requirements are so high that the compliance costs are tremendous. If a blockchain in healthcare could replace that compliance cost with a new paradigm of security, the value there is in the billions or tens of billions. And that's just an errant thought. I mean, the applications are very, very broad across many sectors for this kind of new approach to data security, data control, and data management.
Absolutely. And we've here on this platform, we're not only are we Web 2 platform, but we're a Web 3 platform, and we embrace blockchain technology. We've had dozens and dozens of guests on here that are in this space, and we know that blockchain is going to bring some amazing solutions. In your case here, as you mentioned, healthcare and security is going to be huge. So I appreciate you sharing that with our audience today, Henry. And Henry, it was such a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thanks, Brian. It was a great chat.
Bye for now.